argument. Now, when I say an argument, this isn't an argument like it's a big fight or anything, but my hubby and I have an argument with each other. And we've had it now for, I don't know, 20 years. So the argument is being poor a state of mind or is it reality? I hope you stay tuned to find out what I have to say, the pros and cons of both of this side to this argument. So, here we are. I'm still dehydrating all of the food that I got at the food pantry. And if you missed that, go back because it's really interesting what I get every month. As you know, this food was going to be thrown away. But the argument is being poor, is that a state of mind or is it reality? So here is my take on it. Being poor is a state of mind. Because it's all how you look at it. Think about it. You can be poor, but yet in your mind you can be rich. Well, how can that be? Well, if you focus your life on the things that you're rich. How about rich in family? How about rich in loving one another? How about rich in showing peace? Being able to get out of bed, that makes you rich. Being able to focus your life on nature and the things outside, enjoying the little things in life. Doesn't that make you rich? Spending time with loved ones, going out into a field and picking wildflowers, looking at the birds, all the different birds that God has created. Doesn't that make you feel rich? Gleaning free food when you need food. Finding little treasures at the thrift store. Finding little happiness in your life. A smile to a stranger. A stranger's smile to you. That, I think, makes you rich. Maybe it's a male and female, different type of mindset. But I think I'm rich in many ways. I think I'm rich in happiness. Of course, I have days that are go wrong. Who doesn't? There's some days that I get out of bed and wish I could go right back into bed. And there's some days I've actually gone back to bed. But in life, I'm rich. We live in the United States of America. That makes us rich because no matter how poor we are, we're always richer than the people that live in third world countries. As you know, I'm passionate about that. Having plates and forks and spoons and knives, having clean water, that makes us rich. Being able to have our freedom of speech makes us rich, although some of that may be taken away. Depends on who you ask. We still have it very good where we live. Having a roof over my head, that makes me rich. Okay, Tessie, we get the point, right? I could go on for hours now, couldn't I? I'm a positive kind of person, so it's easy for me to find things that make me rich. But my husband says being poor is a reality. Well, now let's discuss that. I understand his point of view. I really do. I mean, think about it. We have 10 items we need, and we have a list at the grocery store. But we only have enough money for 5 of those items. So we have to sit and think, what do I really need and what don't I need? That's the reality of being poor. Having to work hard, physical labor. If you have a service job like my husband, even on days you don't feel well at all, you have to do it to make your money. That's the life of being poor. A rich man's life, if he doesn't feel good one day, he doesn't have to work that day. But a poor man, he's got to work whether he feels like it or not. That's reality. How about if you need a pair of shoes, but you can't afford it because you have a medical bill? That's reality. The number one cause of people to have foreclosures and the number one cause for people to go bankrupt is medical expenses. I understand medical expenses. At one time in my life, I had a medical bill for over $60,000. $60,000 for being in the hospital for 6 days. I understand those payments. I understand what it's like. I understand being poor isn't fun. Maybe men are a little more realistic. I always thought I was realistic, but maybe I'm not. For you see, being poor is reality as well. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall be comforted. I remember times in the last 20 years, my sisters would ask me to join them. They would go to what I would call posh places. Of course, a lot of you wouldn't think it's posh, but in my mind, I thought it was. They would ask me to go and meet up with them to art studios, where we could make our own pottery and we could draw our own pictures and paint. It's only $40, Tessie. It's only $50. I didn't have $40 or $50. So I just said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. That's the reality of being poor. Choosing what you're going to eat that week, or choosing on getting medication, or going to places of luxury. You see, a lot of times people will say to me, you know, Tessie, the reason why your channel doesn't grow is because you need to get out more. You need to film shopping. You need to film going to the mall. You need to film going to these shops. When you're poor, you don't have money to go to these kind of places. Going out to eat at restaurants. And yes, in my opinion, the Olive Garden is high class. Hard to believe, I know. I've been to the Olive Garden once in my lifetime. Never been to a Starbucks. Never been to a lot of these places. And I don't feel like I'm missing out. But that's the reality. The reality is, when you don't have consumable money, you don't go to those places. No matter how much you thought it would be fun. I've had a question. And my question was, am I really this low income, or do I just portray it on my YouTube channels? Well, my friends, it would take a lot for me to portray this and not be so. I don't think I would hand haul water out, and I don't think I would be filming here if this wasn't my life. But you see, this is where it comes in. Yes, being poor is reality, but being poor is a state of mind. I decided to take my circumstances and make them better. It's like somebody said, you know, Tessie, you're really good at turning anybody into a homemaker and making them see that their home is their castle. Think about it. If my 1963 double-wide trailer is a castle, then your home should be one too. But reality, yes, being poor is reality. But I don't quite agree with my husband, and I never will. We have two different mindsets. If you have enough of money to pay your taxes, you have enough of money to do the things that you need to, well then, you're not poor. You're rich. No matter what somebody says, and no matter where you go, your poor is somebody's rich. I mean, think about it. In the third world countries, if they had what I had, they would be considered rich. They would think they're rich. Poor. Is it a state of mind? Or is it reality? Now that's a question. You know, that's a trick question. But yet, whenever I say to hubby, being poor is a state of mind, he quickly says, no, Tessie, it's a reality. You know, we all have a different way of thinking in life. And how I think, a lot of you think opposite of. But that's what makes us unique. We can all have different thought patterns. We can all think differently. But this is going to be a conversation video. I want you to tell me, in your ideas, is being poor a state of mind? Or is it reality? Or can it be both? I think in life we are to always turn lemons into lemonade. But I guess, being poor, if you wouldn't have the sugar, you couldn't do that now, could you? Now that is a quick... Now that statement is a trick one. Making lemonade out of lemons. That's being rich in spirit. But not having the sugar makes you poor in reality. I had fun with this video. I'm going to do more like this, of where my husband and I are opposite. I tried to get my husband on the camera. No way, he said. The camera is not for him. But he sure does give me lots of ideas. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow.